to save you or your loved ones.
That someone else paid for.
Do the right thing.
I've kept very quiet here tonight. My name is Joe Deckman. I am the fire chief of Westwood Fire Company. I've lived in the township since 1984. Been a local resident all my life. Been in the volunteer fire service since about 1988. I can't tell you how many hours of my time I've given as a public servant. And I don't do that for thanks from anybody. I work for police and passion, and it's what I want to do. I'm here to help the community. I am ashamed of you three right there. You're making a bad decision. You can't afford me to come out at nighttime with my years of experience and knowledge when I come out for free to do the public, when they call 911, guess who jumps up out of bed in the middle of the night? This guy right here. I'm 55 years old. I'm a little beyond my time in this business. This is a young man's game that I continue to do. But you know why I do it? Because nobody else is coming forward to do it. And when nobody else is there, guess how we're going to pay for it? We're going to pay for it with the taxes. Make the move to take the step forward now. I was the treasurer with the Longwood Fire Company, a volunteer that I did down there for 6 years. I can tell you that Kennett Township gave to the tune of about $500,000 in capital and operational expenses to that service. Their operational expenses are not a lot different from what we do at Westwood Fire Company. They're a proactive township that's doing the right thing. You three, I'm very ashamed. I really am. I'm sorry that you're making a bad choice here tonight.
One thing you have to realize is that you said that you were going to put the money back into the part-time police. The police are not the only reason that any of these people are here. We're not here because of the police officers getting cut. We're here because of everything in there, not just the police officers. So adding that back in to try to pass your motion isn't what we want.
Well, first of all, that's a fluid number. The police department, part-time officers' salary and wages. I was trying to get to a final number, and I think I've still accomplished that. So that it wasn't in response to that, but I guess I'll call it a motion then. Okay. All those in favor?
Nay.
Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
Wait a minute. What are we naying for?
Option A.
Oh, okay, so there's no budget there. Oh. That means you're gonna go back at the table and work at it again and pass a 2 mil real estate tax, hopefully.
I'll motion again for Plan B.
Yeah.
Did you get a second, Chuck? What's that? Did you get a second? Not yet, I got a motion. I will. I'll second.
Just real quick, this is a motion back for budget version B with the
Budget
two.
version B with the changes discussed.
Thank you.
Okay.
So let me
Use
suggest
the
this.
microphone, please.
Sure, let me suggest this, gentlemen. This is a,
No,
I usually need
I
a
will.
microphone about as much as I need
no,
shampoo.
not you, but they want him to say.
I'll make a motion for Plan B with the stated changes, the same motion that I made prior.
Second.
Do it.
So let me suggest this, gentlemen, if I may,
No, he has-
as a comment, which is quite simply, this is a motion to advertise a preliminary budget. We will have time then to discuss it. You have a full 20 days to discuss it. We'll have time to get together with you, talk about some of the things, because quite frankly, I didn't hear about this until 2 or 3 days ago when they called me in. I'd be happy to sit down and talk to you about it and see what savings we can come up with. And you still have those full 20 days. If you need to go back to the other budget, you can. But I think that's a reasonable way to proceed at this point. Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Don't run for office again, guys.
Don't kick the can, just do it.
Connie, what, do you have any figures?
I said, don't run for office again. When your term is up, do not reapply to be a supervisor.
On a 1 mil, what's the surplus on a 1 mil? Which would be more comparable to another municipality? What's that? And again,
What would be the
next year there's going to be,
surplus?
yeah, what would be the surplus?
There wouldn't be a surplus with 1 mil, it wouldn't cover, well,
Well, if we bumped up.
which budget? I'm sorry, which budget?
With, I have that sheet here, I'll just change it to.
A 1.5 would give roughly 572,000. A 1 mil increase would give roughly 378,000. But that would not allow us to address any of the issues, in my opinion, that we have as far as with roads, with a township manager, and just in general, some other things that have been needed to be done to the township building, to the police building, and things that are in the budget as proposed.
I have a question. What's the sustainability of both budgets? How long do they take us? And what are you guys doing to maybe fill in that gap that's going to come, which we don't know is going to come? I know you talked a little bit about you bringing business or that we don't have set up here for business. Isn't it legal to combine the positives of different communities together to create a larger group? For example, you could use the Salisbury as your corporate center, or Eastside as your open space, things like that. Have you considered that? And also, have you asked for help? Have you asked, we have a lot of wealthy people in this area. Have you just opened your mouth and said, we have a little bit of a crisis here? And then my final question is, why aren't people building here? And have you addressed that? I can say that I know that it's expensive to even break ground, and I think that's been a national problem, but overall, I'd like to hear from someone.
I'll speak partially to that, at least for my opinion. In terms of sustainability, neither budget is very good at this point. We don't have a financial outlook of, we have next year, that's it. Bringing in, again, I've said it a few times, a township manager who has experience allows us to free up some time for the treasurer to do those kinds of analysis, or work with the township manager, or work with PSATs, which is the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors, that have plenty of resources where we can do a 1-year, 5-year, 10-year financial plan, cash flow options, and understand where we're going to be, so that we don't have to sit here and say, do we need to do 1 mil this year? Do we need to do 2? Do we need to go up to 4? And all of that. We're at a spot where we need to do that. And to be able to make any of these sustainable, we have to take at least the next year. We have a police contract coming up. We're in the middle of a road crew negotiation. These are all variables at this point for us. After next year, these are all things we can take next year and work on and focus on to improve our financial situation. There still may be areas for cuts, yes. I know Ed has said he's worked very hard on getting different things cut down and out for bid, which is a process, in my opinion, we should do more often than every 10 or 15 years, whatever it's been. But for my opinion, that's where the sustainability is. We have to take a hard look at it. And the people we have working for us, Connie, cannot do that right now with all the other responsibilities she has. Again, a township manager frees up that time to be able to do these kinds of analysis and learn them and get us to a spot where we can say, okay, 5 years out, we know that we may have to increase the millage again just due to increase of insurance costs, not just health insurance, but liability, workers' comp, all those things that have gone up and up and up over the past few years, and that we've had issues with and know are going up quite a bit next year. That's part of the increase in the budget, is medical and workers' comp and liability insurance. These are all things that we need to look at in the future.
So you should have been doing your homework a long time ago and taking those steps. And that's what I'm talking about. It's come time now to institute a real estate tax. You knew this before. That's the same way with the road department. You do not do a certain amount of mileage of roads in blacktopping and maintenance. You just don't even do it, or you put a Band-Aid down on it. Somebody has to pay for it. That's just like these schools. When I started my fire extinguisher business in 1970, these schools, some of them were built then, but they were in deplorable condition on the inside because the school board failed to take the proper maintenance. And if you don't maintain something, you don't get anything out of it. So they didn't cut that because they don't want to be the bad guy. And there's where I find right now the 5 of you sitting up there have known this for how many years, and you've done nothing about it but live off the earned income tax. And it didn't work out. It didn't work out. I'm sorry. I like you two there, you've stepped up to the plate, but the other 3 of you, I'm sorry. You've left me down. And I made the remark, the 3 of you, don't run for office the second time that your term comes up, because I'll be out there voting for you not to get in there.
Ron?
And we're going to end up having to put this tax in, and it's going to have to be more than 2 mil to catch up to where we're at right now today. And I like I said, there's my taxes from the county, $4.163, $490.78. Yes, I'm going to have to bite the bullet. I'm not saying we have to go to 4 mils, but I also know 3 mils is $353.60, and that was 3 even. And 2 mils is $235.70, just exactly 2 mils. I'm going to have to bite the bullet. I'm 74 years of age. But the bottom line is, we've got to come up and fix the problem that's out there. You're just not even putting a Band-Aid on it this year. Go ahead, Mr. Porter. I'm sorry.
No, you bring up a good point. I mean, you know, there is, you know, we're all elected individually, and then we also serve together as a board, and there is different perspectives or different thoughts as you go through this. My whole thought is, I've been up here, when I came on the board, I put the solicitors out to bid, we had rates come in much lower, and the board voted 4-1 against me, you know, keeping those rates, and I'm not trying to throw myself out there separately. I've been up here, I've voted down every budget that this township has ever gone through, because I've seen a general problem here of things escalating. I'm sounding the alarm every year, hey, this is raising, and everyone just steps back, and they're not addressing the problem, whether they're intimidated, or they're scared, or they're afraid to step up to the plate. I've sat in negotiations where I had officers or different situations where they're saying stuff to me, and I'm there by myself. I've battled every which way I can going through this, and I struggle here to say that I almost would vote through a 1 mil, when I said I wouldn't even vote for a tax, only because I will fight next year to get so much crap straightened out in this township that I'll repeal that tax, because there is a serious financial problem here that's not being addressed internally. And for those of you that just say, hey, tax, you will regret that in the years to come, because you will have such a heavy tax here in this township that you won't be able to sell your property so quickly to get out of here. East Fallowfield will be at the upper level of Chester County because internally it's not being addressed. And that's the serious problem, and that's why we're here today, is because it's been a scary process to take on certain things, because you know, you're here by yourself. You residents aren't here. How many budget meetings we have? There's like 2 people in the audience, and they're just regulars. No one's there.
Because we trusted you.
And I'm here.
Where's your budget then? Where's your budget? You just sit back and you vote against everything and you weigh and sit there nickel and dime. Pull yourself out and put a budget together.
I would outsource, and I'm saying that right now. I would outsource in a department. I've had another police department say that they can provide the same level of service or better at a lower rate. But I struggle here because everyone's saying that they're friends with things. Instead of firstly looking at, as long as you have the same protection and better, where have I done you wrong for a lower price? Just like I did with medical. I was able to get a lower medical rate that was comparable to the same thing that we had for a lower price. Isn't that what you do when you go shopping? Or are you just always paying the full price?
What police department I would like to know? What police department?
I'm not saying that. I'm not.
Why not? I'm a local police officer. I would like to know.
Because I don't have the counsel on that one, and that's something I'd have to go from. But you are, and I'm not knocking this police force either. But I have been up front. I mean, I stepped, when the police chief talked to me a long time ago, I told him that, hey, and he said to me, you're a numbers guy. And I said, hey, if you can get West Marlboro, if you can get New Lynn as a regional police force, I'd be all behind it. We have a serious problem with the contract as far as in that department. We're losing every time and it gets more expensive.
Well, I'll tell you something right now. I'm the chief of police in West County Township.
Okay.
We've had so many things going down. I run with 2 full-time officers and 12 part-time officers. For the last 8 years as chief of police, I went through 27 police officers. 27. I'm a training ground. I don't need that. These guys, I worked for East Fallowfield Township many years ago.
Okay, is
It's a
that,
great place to work.
it's just a general question, is that part-timers or is it full-timers that you're
I
losing?
have 27 part-timers on that.
Okay, part-timers, all right.
In the 8 years I've been police chief, they went to full-time jobs. How much did that cost my township? I'm fighting the battle too. These guys deserve everything what they asked for.
I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying that there is a number that,
That is your,
if I could save money and provide the same level of service or better.
You can't guarantee that same level of service.
Oh, no one can.
These guys know us personally.
Okay.
If they can guarantee that level of service,
Doesn't live in the area.
then if you can't tell us who it is, what township
I don't
around
have
here-
board support. I'm just saying, someone asked
I'm just
me.
saying, what township around here has enough officers to take on another 16 square miles and still provide the same level of service? Are they gonna have an additional 9 officers? Or how many, we have 9 full-time, is that what it is? 8 full-time officers. So they're going to guarantee us 8 full-time officers.
You don't have 8 on all the time.
No, but that's what we have.
No, but I'm saying the level of service is applied to the hourly of the day. You know, as long as you had the same level of service, I don't even want to talk about it. It's not even on the table. Now this has gone into the whole scare thing. It's not even on the table. No one's dissolving the police department up here. It's not even on the table.
And you brought it up.
Well, because someone asked me what I would do, and I brought it up over the years. I haven't had board support.
Is the Parksburg Police Department still in here? Who worked there, spoke a few minutes ago?
It's not even on, whatever.
Well, bottom line is this. You talked about the regional police of Parksburg taking care. Highland Township sits right over here.
Okay.
Tom Scott, chairman of the board, is my first cousin. Okay? So I know a little bit about Highland Township. Go ask Tom Scott how many hours that they hire the Parksburg Police Department to do their patrolling in their township. You don't even get 1 full month of full-time police. The rest of it's taken care of by Avondale State Police. Unless you can guarantee 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays and everything, that there'll be at least, and if we're running, what are we running, guys? 1 man or 2
I
men?
would never do it unless it was the same level of service or better. That's my promise.
And I don't think you'll do it.
People don't know us. They're not local.
Well, it
They're
makes no
not
difference
part of our
whether we
community. They're coming from outside.
Okay.
It's like bringing in a supervisor from outside. It's like bringing in anything from outside. It's not the same. They don't live here. They don't know us. They don't work with us. They're not invested.
Okay, we do that though. We have a code officer that's from
I'm glad
Delaware.
you gave back your money because I think that any public service should be a public service and not paid. I'm proud of you for doing that. And I'm a numbers guy too. I'm a business owner, okay? But when it comes down to it, we want these guys. We want the local guy that knows us. We want Mayberry as close as we can get, and we're willing to pay for it. And I know there's budget cuts, but have you asked for help? Because no one answers my question. Have you asked for a fraternal order of police guy there? You guys offer health insurance for your corporation. And could we save money? Did you ask for help, or are you trying to do it all yourselves on your own? You got a lot of smart people in the community, you got a lot of professionals in the community, and you got other options that I'm not sure you guys are approaching. And you hide behind, I can get sued. Have some courage. Forget being sued.
Oh.
Don't be up there if you're afraid of being sued. Tell us the truth. Give us what you got, and let us make decisions.
I've gone right against it, no problem, just like I sit up here right now. I'm not scared. I'm not intimidated. I don't want you to be intimidated or scared. And that's been my main promise all the way through. I will not let someone in this township be intimidated or scared, and I have seen that go through here. So I'm not for that at all. I'm doing my best that I can to try to navigate through here with the numbers. The problem with our contract as far as that department is that where it's out of step with other municipalities. Another municipality could give you a lower rate for service because their contract isn't so far gone. I've had an attorney in negotiations tell us our contract is so far gone. And you never...
Is it expenses? What is it?
It's just everything in there. We're not able to win on anything because it's always more that you give. They don't give back. You lose. You lose every time. And I'm not knocking the police department, good for them. But I'm just saying from a budget area, we don't win. Our contract has been given away so many times that it's out of step with other municipalities that are comparable. And that's the problem. And that's what we struggle with. That's where possibly another municipality, say Coatesville City, right? Coatesville City, they have a good police force as well. Who says that they wouldn't hire on some of these officers? And they take that money and put it, the extra money that they have because their contract's lower, towards Coatesville City and straightening that out. They have detectives. They have officers there just as well. I'm not knocking these ones as well at all, but I'm just saying their contracts aren't out of step in other municipalities. Ours are. That's the problem. It costs us more for a police service here than other places.
Are we welcome to come to those meetings? Are we welcome to come?
You should be at all meetings. I tell residents,
Negotiations between the.
you can't. That you cannot. I've asked to have them taped. I'd have meetings. I asked Comcast to come in to get a videotape so you saw it on TV. You can watch meetings. I've done everything you can so you can see what's going on here. That's just I'm here straightforward with the residents, telling them that I would never lower the level of service, and I would always make it sure it was better if I can get it at a lower rate. That's all. That's all. I'm not here.
Yeah, our houses are at a lower rate.
I didn't vote for the cut.
Well, two of us voted in favor of it, so we haven't heard.
Mr. Porter, I have one question. I know for those who aren't at the meetings, generally I actually think that you analyze things fairly well and you vote whether it's something that you think is right or wrong, and you'll vote after analyzing. And I do actually appreciate that and understand it. You mentioned how the budget continues to go up and up every year, and it just doesn't seem to stop. Obviously, everything goes up. The price of gasoline's going up, bread, eggs, everything goes up every year. The cost of living, that's why we get cost of living increases at most jobs. I own my own business, I don't get a cost of living increase. Our fire chief's poor wife cooked soup last weekend to sell so we could pay for tires for a fire truck. We made $1,000. Those kinds of things are taxing on us in addition to the police. And I'm not, here 100% the police, it's all services. Obviously, you're passing no increase for us, and I've expressed to you over the last year and the board just how difficult it is for us to make ends meet. And I told you, maybe today we're not in that position, but tomorrow, if we don't have gas for that ambulance, where are we going to be? And those are the kinds of things I presented to you, as I'm required to do. It's my duty to present to you to make that decision. The second-class township code does require adequate support to fire and EMS. Okay, so I understand where you're coming from, but understanding on our side of it too, it is frustrating for us to not see any sense of appreciation if we don't continue to get an increase at all. And I know it's tough, and I said before, you're making a tough decision. I'm not here to beat you up. I come to every meeting, as you know.
I appreciate that, John, but in all fairness, you know that this current board has given over a lot more than any other board. We gave over fuel when you asked for it. We gave additional money when you asked for it. We have given what you've asked.
And I appreciate that. My concern now is you're taking it away after a year.
We didn't pass.
I just need to make that, I have to do my due diligence to the residents here, and so everybody understands that. It's very important to us.
We still voting on the motion?
Yeah, we're
still.
still.
One more question, what are our other options, by the way? I haven't heard anything else. I haven't heard another option other than tax or cut. And no one addressed my question about going with other boroughs or other options.
We are part of a COG. There is different things that we do work with other municipalities with. Just with certain areas. We're basically on our own. To pay for. As far as asking the Kings Ranch area for a donation or something. Of that area. We do take donations. If you want to send a donation into the township, it's East Fallowfield Township.
Taxes, you'll get the money, you'll get more on the taxes than donation.
I agree. We have, just to even get, here's a good point to even announce during this meeting. We can't get volunteers. Our whole park and rec board, we have no members, and we've had up there for the longest time asking for volunteers. It's on the same Facebook pages that everyone here is sitting from on one issue, but no one volunteers. Even for these elections, just to see 2 people running instead of 10, is crazy. There should be lots of people running. One year a supervisor was elected with 105 votes, and that's from both sides of this township. There's a serious problem here of people not paying attention. This is the most people I've seen in a long time. No one comes to these meetings. So if things get to this point where you come in and you don't have all the information. You would have a better feeling for everything if you were at more meetings or if you just made a couple. And I'm not knocking anyone, but you need to pay attention. I mean, at least at the local level, you can control a lot better than you can at any other level. But people pay attention to the presidential elections. You should pay attention here. That's where I always favor.
All right, I'll ask for the other three supervisors' votes. Steve and I have already voted in favor.
Well, there's a good reason.
Chuck? Okay. Chuck voted yes. Ed?
That's the three, Joe. I appreciate Chuck for you doing that. I feel from my standpoint of sitting up here, for what I've been doing, I'm a nay on that. It's not that I don't understand why we need the money, I just know what I've been doing to try to straighten stuff out here, and it's been a long process, but I appreciate Chuck's vote of yay.
Thank you,
I
Chuck.
guarantee you, next year, there's gonna be some changes, guaranteed, to straighten out some of these spending.
The motion does pass. Just to reiterate what District Attorney Hogan said earlier, this is just a vote to advertise the budget, which is good. But there is, there is time before it is passed, or it is voted on for good for the budget for 2016. Just so everybody is aware of that. We will move on. Planning Commission, Mr. Crook.
Last month we met once. It's not you guys. It's not even work.
You want this one?
Last month we met, let's go back on bringing other proposals on implementation, follow through what we were talking about on the comprehensive plan.
Louder.
Sorry. Here, you want the guys?
Brian, just hand this microphone. There you go.
This is what I mean, folks. I mean, this is the township meeting as everyone goes out the door. This is the township meeting.
After the comprehensive plan, the Planning Commission has been working on implementation processes for what was passed. The other things that we were looking at, we went over again too, was the different pieces that we looked at. We're looking at starting with the township manager type thing. We think that that's one of the biggest issues that we need to implement. It would help out, bring about more ways to manage the township as a whole. We were talking with Mr. Rayoff, which I mentioned earlier, about bringing other ways in. Ray's willing to come speak to the board some more in regards to ways of increasing revenue, which I mentioned earlier a little bit. That there's only two ways: is earned income and putting a millage in. That way you can get some off of industry and commercial, but we don't have that much right at the moment. It was something else that people like the police and the roads, at the same time. We have no other avenues to bring in more revenue without having some millage in place. Even if we did do the mixed use areas and stuff like that, then we would have a possibility of bringing in more commercial taxes. And that would be more of a fair
fair taxes for everyone. That way it's evenly distributed instead of just the working people coming from earned income. There's a lot of people who don't pay any taxes at all with the present system, so I'm sure that's one thing. We're looking at trying to do that implementation more. We asked Mr. Ott to come over, no charges this time, to come over and make any other advisements to the board, if you thought that was a good thing. So, I don't know, in the next meeting or two,